Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. We are continuing on with our 2022 NFL mock drafts for each team as we get to that NFL draft later this April. Today we got the Carolina Panthers, a draft that I'm kind of dreading to do. I'm not going to lie. They have that 6th overall pick, but then they don't pick until round 4. They have a lot of holes that they need to address, but not having the draft capital to do it is pretty tough. I think they're a great candidate to trade down because they just don't have any picks. That being said, with the tackles that are on the board and that I think will be on the board at this time, I think you go up and get a tackle, a franchise tackle, a position that you guys just haven't addressed in years. I think this would be the year to do it. It's going to be Charles Cross. I'm fielding offers for teams that might be looking up to go draft a quarterback, or like the Saints, who I think are also scheming on trading up with those 2 first-round picks they just acquired to get into that top 10 and get a tackle or a quarterback. That being said, the Panthers also need a tackle and a quarterback, so I'm not sure if they're willing to trade down and give up that top 6 pick. Again, a guy like Evan Neal, Kevin Kwanu, Charles Cross, one of them will be on the board, and I think that's where the Panthers need to go. It's been a position that they've struggled with. You have 3 guys who I'm confident will be 10-year starters at the next level. I think all of them have chances to be all pros. We have extremely high grades on all 3 of them. All 3 of them are in our top 10 on our big board. I think that's where the Carolina Panthers could go. I think they also could go quarterback just because Sam Darnold's just not it. They got Brady Christensen from BYU last year. I was a fan of him. I know he didn't get too much burn this year. Maybe he'll pan out, but I think you just can't pass up the talent that the tackle offers with that 1st overall pick. Pick 137. I think they could add some edge depth. I think they could get a linebacker. I also think they could look to get a slot receiver. I like Robbie Anderson. I like DJ Moore, but maybe there's a guy that can kind of be a playmaker from the slot. It doesn't really look like there is. We're going to check that edge position because they have a good defense. Like looking at their depth chart, I'm extremely happy with how that defense looks. I also think linebacker could be on the board. Malcolm Rodriguez is a guy that I really like. Former state champ wrestler, knows how to bring people to the ground. He's always around the football. He's actually he's a good athlete in terms of straight line speed and strength. I think he's a little stiff in the hips when it gets to dropping back in coverage, following tight ends down the seam. But I think he's a good athlete that you can kind of teach that a little bit. Because again, he tested well. I just think he's a little bit stiff when you watch him play. But I have a really high grade on Malcolm Rodriguez. We're going to check that safety spot real quick as well. I think you kind of missed the boat a little bit with the safeties. Leon O'Neal could be a guy. I know they have Jeremy Chin, so that's good to see. And let's check that edge position rankings too. See if there's anybody that we're excited about in that edge. Doesn't look like it. I think Malcolm Rodriguez is going to be the pick here. He's a guy who I think has a chance to be a week 1 starter. Even if he's not, he's going to be a good special teamer. And early round 5, we have another pick. Honestly, it might be Zach Tom. We have an extremely high grade on Zach Tom. He's a versatile player. He played center his first 2 years at Wake Forest, then switched to tackle his last 2 years. Quite frankly, switched to tackle because he was the best offensive lineman they had. Why wouldn't you want your best offensive lineman playing that tackle spot? But I think he's built up that frame that you kind of saw him struggle with his first couple of years at center. Being a redshirt freshman, a 2-star recruit, I just wasn't physically there. I think he is there now. I think he'd be a great pick to continue to address that offensive line. I think he has a shot at playing right tackle, especially because you got Charles Cross at your left. But I'm confident that he can be a good center as well. 149. There might be an edge guy that you can kind of take a flyer on. This is a really deep edge class. And if you're looking for value kind of towards the end of the round, Isaiah Thomas is an interesting guy. Kind of a versatile guy. He sits around 275, 280. I think he can play inside. He can also play outside. I don't think Oklahoma particularly used him very effectively. Just didn't seem like he was playing the right position and in the right scheme. Can say the same thing with Nick Bonito, using him as a spy. Using the best pass rusher on the field as a spy in their intent just doesn't make any sense. They did that a lot with him. Michael Clemens is another guy we have a decent grade on. Yeah, I think we might go ahead and take Isaiah Thomas. He has some potential to be a role player at the next level, and that's kind of what you're looking for in that round 5 spot. round 6, they don't they don't have any picks. And it's funny because you look at their picks, the 6th overall pick is the only one that they naturally have, and then the rest of them are picks that they've gotten in trade compensations. They got Chuba Hubbard. I don't hate the idea of looking at the running back. I wasn't wowed by Chuba Hubbard. I think he can do it, but at this like Jerry Ely does a lot of things that I like, but he does a lot of things I like that Christian McCaffrey does at just a way higher level. So I don't know if he's worth the pick. That being said, we have seen Christian McCaffrey struggle with injuries, but I don't think the Panthers should be drafting to cover up for Christian McCaffrey's injuries because if he's not on the field, the Panthers probably aren't going to be a very good team anyways. So you might as well just not like really address the injury because it would be really bad. Let's check the tight ends because there's a couple of guys I like. I like Chigo a lot. Jelani Woods is another guy. I know you guys got Tommy Tremble, who I do like, but I don't think is as much of a pass catching threat as you could maybe find. Looking for a guy that Adam Anderson's an interesting guy. He's just going through some legal trouble right now, a pretty significant legal trouble. Since Jim McCormick, he's kind of a guy that you can pound the rock with. I don't hate the idea of getting a guy that you're more comfortable pounding the rock with, just because that's not necessarily Christian McCaffrey's game. And I think the Panthers are realizing maybe we need to lighten the workload on Christian McCaffrey. He's not like the biggest guy. You don't really need to be running in between the tackles that much. Can you get a guy that maybe offers some of that value? A guy like Abram Smith. Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll go Abram Smith. He's a guy that I think he's gonna bring. I hate drafting like back-to-back running backs with Chuba Hubbard, but I just didn't really like what he brought to the table that much. Abram Smith's just a bruiser. Another guy I like, Hassan Haskins. The guys that run hard between the tackles can give you 4 yards on first down, give Christian McCaffrey a blow when he needs it. I think there's some value there. I'm not in love with that pick, but again, you're picking in round 6, round 7. You're not going to love too many of the guys on the board. With that last pick they have, looking for a guy who could contribute in special teams, could maybe be a good depth piece. It's slim pickings, that's for sure. Cameron Latu, he put together a decent little run. Jeremiah Gemmell's another guy that I think is going to provide a little bit of spark, at least in the special teams. He's a very smart player. Connor Hayward, very similar at that fullback position. We're going to go to the tight end spot because I do think that there's some guys that I like towards the end of this class. Let's go Austin Allen from Nebraska. He's a guy that you want a quarterback's best friend. You want to make the quarterback's life a little easier. Go get a monster target. That's going to be Austin Allen, 6'5", I believe, 6'6". He's a massive target. Good catch radius. He's just not a very good athlete, and maybe Tommy Tremble can maybe balance that out a little bit. All right, let's check how we did. B plus again. The Panthers don't have that many picks. I do think that in that round, that pick 6, you got to try to get your franchise tackle. Charles Cross, Evan Neal, Kevin Quine, whoever's there, go up and take them. And you don't have to worry about the tackle spot ever again, or not for at least hopefully 10 years, because I think all 3 of those guys are nails. Malcolm Rodriguez, me and PFF just don't see eye to eye with that. Zach Tom, I think, would be a great pick, kind of round 4, round 5 area. You might have to get him in round 4 because I think the NFL starting to warm up to him. He tested well. I think that was his biggest question mark coming in. Finishing out with Isaiah Thomas, Abram Smith, and Austin Allen. I wasn't in love with the Abram Smith or Austin Allen pick, but I do think adding some depth to the running back room, just Chuba Hubbard just wasn't that impressive. I think Abram Smith can bring a little bit to that backfield that Chuba Hubbard, Christian McCaffrey lack. And then Austin Allen, if you're going to get a rookie quarterback next year, give him a big target to go to in the red zone. Again, it's round 7. You're not finding too many guys who are going to add that much value to the team. I think Austin Allen in the red zone certainly does with that big catch radius. That's a review on the Carolina Panthers mock draft. Appreciate you guys following along, subscribing, liking the videos. You guys have been absolutely awesome with the support, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.